I ask you, are the elections over? Have we lost? If I believed Fox News, you would think it was. After all, it is in Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity's interest to win this election so they can set the groundwork of getting Ron DeSantis into the White House in 2024. So they have another Trump-like authoritarian that will take their calls. Last night, President Biden, just 14 miles from this South Florida queer television studio, said this was the election of a generation. He said it's going to affect us for decades. Are the elections over? Have we lost? If I walked into the bars on Welton Drive tonight, you would think so. I don't want to hear about politics, is the often said excuse. In my adult life, I have never seen the attacks on the LGBTQ community like I've seen in 2022. Not Anita Bryant days, not through the height of the AIDS crisis of the 90s, not through Don't Ask, Don't Tell, not ever. This year, our drag queens, our trans community, our gay marriages, our Black and people of color community, our Supreme Court, our state houses, our schools, our school boards, never, ever the amount of LGBTQ attack than in 2022. Is that enough attack for you to spur some activism? Apparently not. 2022, we are getting ready to see an assault on our very souls of the LGBTQ community. And where are you? Your apathy may be historic. Your failure to help your friends and family understand the historic crisis you are personally in may be tragic. I wonder, after every person that has sat in one of these television seats through today in 2022, you know how many people that's been? 1,000 anchors and host seats have sat, and in one single voice, the only thing you can do, they have said, is vote. I wonder, what more could they say to you that would motivate you to take some action? I wonder. Tonight, I think about a warrior of the LGBTQ community, State Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith in Orlando. He, along with Senator Chevron Jones and Representative Michelle Rayner, were the only three LGBTQ caucus defense we had in Tallahassee in 2022 to say the GOP was wrong, that Ron DeSantis was the destruction of our children through Don't Say Gay. Tonight, I think fondly of Carlos Guillermo Smith. Why? Because his district was +9 for him just 2 years ago. What do individuals want to do if they want to destroy democracy and punish Carlos Guillermo Smith for standing up for LGBTQ rights against them? Well, first, the governor's mansion concocts some silly plan to gerrymander the district, even overriding the radical GOP state house to get their way. So what do? They add 10 points to the district through registered Republicans. Second, they spend so much money to defeat him. An average state house candidate spends $180,000 on their race. On Saturday, the radical right poured a new $330,000 just on television ads against Carlos Guillermo Smith just for the last week of the election. I heard virtually nothing of protest in the LGBTQ community. In total, they have poured approximately $1.5 million into the race against Smith, 8 times the average spend. Why? Because Smith was the Florida LGBTQ tip of the sword, as David to stand against the fascist Goliath of DeSantis. This is the real price of being gay in Florida and standing up for LGBTQ children in our state. And then they call him a groomer. These are facts. The only remaining question is, do you care? I wonder. I'm not going to be the 1,000 plus one to plea for you to vote. If you don't know that, the election is over. We've lost. One last thought. I have voiced and used this platform for Democrats, Republicans, gay, lesbian, straight, Latino, trans, young, old, black, white, and other political candidates. I want you to participate in our democracy. This media platform is literally the LGBTQ democracy in action. There is one thing I have not done. To the unbelievable offensive spin by radicals for TV ads this week against LGBTQ champion State Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith in Orlando, I will do one more thing I have not done in 2022. For a single candidate, I am going on his website live right now and make a $50 donation to his campaign. This is a personal action. Al Ferguson alone, not any other person or any other organization, does that represent. If I lose my job tomorrow for this public action, so be it. But we are watching the fate of democracy for the LGBTQ community before our very eyes. And I thought Donald Trump was the worst thing I was ever going to see. Unfortunately, those may turn out to be the good old days. The only remaining question is super simple. Do you even care? I wonder. Everyone is watching now. But for me, this election is not over. Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith, I wanted you to know personally, I am of faith. I'm a person of faith. And I like how the David versus Goliath story turned out. So in the last week of this election, spend my $50 well.